Let's have a look at the United States Air Force Pilots Survival Knife. This is a military knife designed for the USAF for pilots. It's meant as a hunting, survival and combat knife with some of the primary functions being, well, obviously combat and cutting your way out of a crashed aircraft, which is pretty interesting. A pretty interesting design for a knife, I think. Just going by a quick Google search and having a look on Wikipedia, this knife was first in development around 1958 from a tiny little bit of research right before making this video. And if I recall from a quick search 5 minutes ago, it came into service in 2004. That's pretty interesting. Being developed in 1958 and officially becoming in service in 2004. That's quite the gap. 40 years, is it not? Anyway, let's start off by having a look at the sheath, which is clearly a leather sheath, and it is real leather. I am quite a fan of leather. I absolutely love leather, actually. And this seems to be pretty sturdy. I mean, reasonably thick leather, riveted and threaded, and I would imagine glued as well. I absolutely love leather sheaths. And we have this, I assume, steel plate here. And I'm just assuming, but I'm guessing this is to protect a pilot if they have to be ejected from the aircraft. This makes perfect sense, actually. So if you're ejected out of an aircraft, this is just me guessing, of course, but if you have to eject out of an aircraft and you land, well, you probably don't want to have a knife through your leg. I mean, that's just going to make the situation all the worse. So I assume this metal here is to, well, stop the knife poking out of the sheath and into your leg. But like I said, it seems pretty sturdy. Reasonably nice looking leather. Probably not the highest quality leather. I mean, this is meant as a survival knife. It's not really supposed to look pretty. We do have here a belt loop, and the retention strap here is threaded and riveted. That's always a good thing. And here we have a small pouch for a stone. I assume it's a wet stone. I can't imagine this being an oil stone. In fact, I don't even know if it is a wet stone, honestly. I don't know if you're supposed to add water to this being a survival knife. You're not going to get a razor edge on this knife with that little stone, especially with it only being one grit. But in a survival situation where you've got nothing else, I mean, you're not exactly going to carry, 5 high quality Japanese water stones with you in a military operation, of course. So that makes sense for that to be there. Although I'm not really too sure how strong that stone is. In fact, I'm surprised I've not snapped it yet. Just using that button snap there. Anyway, let's unsheath the knife. Put the sheath to the side. So we have a very sort of generic looking military knife with a clip point blade. I'm quite a big fan of the clip point blade. It's my favourite style of blade. It's got a sort of bowie look to it, and it does have quite a nice bit of belly here, which is a good thing for slicing. It is pretty thick, so it can probably take quite the beating. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of people batoning wood with this, which I can imagine being one of the tasks you may have to use this knife for in a survival situation. We do have here a thing it's called a swedge, and it is sharpened, so this piece here up the top is pretty much just as sharp as the rest of the blade. We have is it suede? I'm not sure if this is suede or if it's just straight up leather. I think it is just leather. It seems to me that this is completely untreated. I'm not sure why you would leave that untreated. Not that I intend on giving it any kind of finish. Because I don't see the need to. I don't use this knife. Most of my knives I don't use. I keep them in a cabinet, ones like this anyway, the military knives. We do have here 2 holes in the crossguard. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. I assume that's for lashing it to a stick to use as a spear It does, I believe one of the, like I said, one of the primary uses for this is hunting. So that makes sense. Forgot to mention, we do have 2 holes in the sheath, which I believe is for tying the sheath around your leg so it's not swinging around all over the place when you're trying to walk or run around. That'd be quite annoying having a, being in a survival situation with a sheath constantly slapping your leg. I can imagine that getting pretty irritating, just making your day worse, as if it's not bad enough that you've crashed several billion pounds or dollars or whatever with a plane and you're in the middle of nowhere. You've also got your survival knife slapping you in the leg. So yeah, anyway, that was sort of saw up the top here, and like I said, I believe that's for cutting your way out of an aircraft. So yeah, that makes perfect sense to me anyway. There we have, I think these are called, I think the name for this is a fuller, some people call it a blood groove. It's one of those things where people debate the original intention, whether it is just to reduce weight or to let out blood. I don't know the truth behind that, honestly. It's one of those things that's probably going to always be debated. The pommel, you know what, I don't even remember the name of that shape. Hexagonal, octagonal, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's shaped like a nut, simply put. We do have a rat tang, so it isn't quite full tang, but is it really possible to have a true full tang with this sort of handle? I think not, but for 99% of the tasks you're probably going to do with this knife, I'm pretty sure that's going to hold up, and it is fairly thick as well. So my thoughts on this knife is, honestly, it's I mean, I've never used it, but I think it's a pretty excellent little knife, especially for the price you pay for it, and it is made in the USA, to my knowledge. So that's definitely an upside. I think I paid less than £50 for this, maybe a couple of years ago. It's sat in my cabinet since I bought it, and it is a good little display piece, and it's most definitely a functional knife. I mean, you've obviously got the God knows how many, servicemen and women that's carried this knife, so that says a lot more than some guy here on YouTube could possibly say. The fact that this is served in the military, so I suppose after that point my opinion's irrelevant, but I like to talk about knives, so here it is anyway. Just blabbering on about this thing. No, but this is a brilliant knife. Honestly, I think it would make a decent camp knife and a decent survival knife. Especially at the price point, £50, not bad. Is it better than a £10 Mora? I don't know, because a £10 Mora is about as much as I use, honestly. I would say it's definitely tougher, but it's not a £200 survival knife. I mean, you're going to be a lot more upset if you lose £200 worth of knife than £50 of knife. So there's that for whatever that's worth. As a collector's item, well, I kind of consider myself more of a collector than a user. I have to collect all kinds of knives. Not that I've got that many expensive ones. In fact, I don't have any expensive ones really. But for someone who likes to collect military knives or survival knives, I think this is an excellent knife for you. If you don't have it in your collection, why not? It's a good knife. It's £50 and it looks good. And if you've seen any of the pictures or videos of this knife that has been used and abused, I think it ages pretty nicely as well. The leather handle, I think it looks pretty good once it has some service behind it. Same with the sheath. So that's just my thoughts on this knife. I think it's an excellent knife. I don't think you can go wrong with it really, unless you're wanting it for fine detailed woodworking, then possibly don't buy this knife. But for everything else, camping, survival, military, I think this is a pretty good knife. Hunting even. So that's my thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do comment, give a like, dislike, perhaps subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.